So you've found a role that you think you'd be great for, but the casting director is based all the way up in Sydney. Years ago, you would have had to get on a plane and go and audition in person, but now many casting directors will accept a self-taped video audition instead. Here are 10 basic tips that you'll need to know to film a self-taped audition. Often referred to as a self-test, a self-tape is a video audition filmed by the actor from within their own home. And in order to film a successful one, there are certain conventions that you need to follow. Ideally, you'll want to be filming your self-tape on a DSLR type camera. But if you don't have anything like this available to you, most modern smartphones will also be sufficient. If you do use your phone, you need to make sure you're using the back-facing cameras rather than the front-facing camera because selfie cameras are typically lower quality. You also need to make sure that you're filming in landscape mode and not portrait mode. Filming in portrait mode can be great for TikTok or Snapchat, but if you film your self-tape this way, then large black bars will appear on either side of your footage when viewed on a larger screen. Shaky handheld footage can look very unprofessional, so you're going to want to make sure that your camera is stationary while you're recording. And the easiest way to do this is with a cheap tripod. There are plenty of inexpensive tripods out there that you can use to hold up a DSLR style camera. You can actually mount your phone to these types of tripods too. For this example, we're using the Osmo Mobile 3, which is an iPhone gimbal, but you don't actually need anything this fancy. Cheap phone clamps can be found online for about $10 to $15. If you have nothing like this at your disposal, you can create a similar effect by propping your camera up on a stack of heavy books. You could also purchase a miniature phone tripod for about the same price as a clamp. You should frame yourself in a medium close-up of your head and shoulders, with just a small amount of headroom between the top of your head and the edge of frame. You really don't want to have the camera below your eye level looking up because the casting directors will see up your nostrils. If you're filming a script with multiple characters, you're going to need a second person to read all of the lines that aren't yours. You should sit this person directly next to the camera on either the left or right. When you're delivering your lines, your eyes should be looking towards your reader. You should never look directly at the camera during the scene unless the script calls for it. For instance, if your character is addressing the audience directly. If you're filming a monologue, you don't actually need a reader, but you may still like to have someone sitting there as a reference point for where your eyeline should be. You'll want to appear against a neutral, uncluttered background, such as a blank wall. If all of your walls are cluttered, you may need to take down some posters or hang up an ironed bedsheet. You'll want to appear evenly lit without any harsh shadows on your face. If you have film lights to help achieve this, that's great. But if you don't, you're going to want to make use of your surroundings. Try to film during the day, in a room with a large window that casts even light across your face. Just make sure you don't stand with the window behind you because this will mess with the camera's exposure settings. You should always try to minimize background noise as much as possible. Let everyone else in your house know when you're filming so that they know to be quiet. Film indoors and shut all doors and windows where possible. There's nothing worse than doing the best take of your life and then finding out that the whole thing was blurry. To avoid this, you need to make sure that your camera is focused correctly. All phones should have an autofocus feature, but if you're filming on a DSLR, you may need to focus manually. Luckily, if you're working with a reader, you can always have them stand in as you focus the shot. Just make sure that you mark where they're standing, so that when they move away, you're able to stand in the exact same spot that they were in. To To begin your self-tape, you start by introducing yourself in what is known as a slate. Look down the barrel of the camera and state your name, the name of your agent, and any other information requested by the casting director. If you don't have an agent, simply state that you are a freelance actor. Then, take a second to compose yourself and look towards your reader to begin. You should be able to complete your scene in one uninterrupted take, so if you make a mistake, you will have to start again from the beginning. Once you've finished filming, it's really important to trim down any unnecessary moments at the beginning or end of your footage. In this clip, our actor finishes the scene and walks over to the camera to turn it off, and we don't need to send this bit to the casting director. Most smartphones will have an inbuilt trim function, or you could also load your footage onto a computer and trim it there. You don't need any fancy editing equipment to trim your clip. It can be done in something as simple as QuickTime Media Player. And there you have it, your self-tape is ready to send off to the casting director. Above all, the main thing you need to remember is that the focus should always be on your performance. Everything from the sound to the lighting and editing should be as clean and simple as possible to present your acting in a very clear manner. If you're in year 1, this is all the information that you'll need to create a great self-tape video. But if you're in year 2, you're going to want to head over to our advanced tips video to further expand your knowledge. Thanks for watching and happy auditioning.